What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show. We discuss the stimulus package update, stimulus check update, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. If you're new to our channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so you won't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. We got a lot to talk about here as Congress is considering another round of stimulus, possible stimulus checks, possible more money for businesses, possible more paycheck protection program here, multiple different things here. Virus stimulus relief here. You can see here businesses are clamoring to get in on the next COVID relief stimulus package. Omicron supplemental bill here after House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer on Tuesday teased an imminent request from the White House for substantial sums of money to beat back another wave of COVID infections. Yeah, so we have a lot of different groups trying to jump in on this money. And we have a lot of people asking what is needed to receive a $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus check for 2022 as well, because, well, the pandemic is terrible right now. We have 800,000 people on average here testing positive every single day, and doesn't seem to be getting better. Yeah. And question is, how long is this going to go on? Take a listen.
Dr. Morthy, thanks so much for joining us. So case numbers have soared past 800,000 cases per day for the first time today. Hospitalizations are the highest they've ever been. Are we at the peak of this surge right now, do you think? Or if not, when do you think we should expect the peak to come?
Well, Jake, this is a very difficult time during this surge. We are seeing high case numbers and hospitalization rates, as you mentioned, and we're also seeing strain in many of our hospitals around the country. But the good news is that there are parts of the country, New York in particular, and other parts of the Northeast, where we are starting to see a plateau and in some cases an early decline in cases. The challenge is that the entire country is not moving at the same pace. The Omicron wave started later in other parts of the country, so we shouldn't expect a national peak in the next coming days. Next few weeks will be tough. But Jake, this is also why it's so important that we are surging resources to hospitals that are struggling. It's why it's so important that we all double down on precautions that we're taking. Because one thing that we're learning during this surge is that our vaccines are still working very well to keep people out of the hospital and to save their lives. It's why we want everyone to get vaccinated, to get boosted as soon as they can.
One of the big challenges about containing the pandemic is that there are not enough tests right now. Take a listen to what then President-elect Joe Biden said about testing in December 2020.
We need to scale up testing so anyone who needs one can get a test. After 10 months of the pandemic, we still don't have enough testing. It's a travesty.
Now, testing has been scaled up, but it is not the case that everybody who wants a test can get a test. We're still not where we need to be. If not having enough tests then was a travesty, is it a travesty now?
Well, Jake, testing certainly has been an area of focus, and you heard the president just a few weeks ago say that we've made tremendous progress on testing over the last year, but that we have more work to do to make sure that the increased in demand and the surge really in demand that we saw with Omicron can be met. But it's important here, Jake, that we also step back and look at the broader picture. Earlier in 2021, the administration used the DPA and an investment of billions of dollars to expand the manufacturing capacity for tests. That, in combination with rigorous work around expanding testing production, led to a quadrupling of supply in testing in the fall. But when Omicron came, it created an extraordinary rise in demand that created shortages not just in the U.S., but in other countries as well. And that's why we've had to take additional measures. We have 1 billion tests that will become available to people that they can order through the website starting January 19th. We have 50 million tests we've sent to community health centers around the country. And starting January 15th, yesterday, people will be able to get coverage, private insurance coverage, for up to 8 tests per person per month that they order. So all of these together will help us close the gap in testing and make sure that everyone does, in fact, have a test who needs it.
Yeah, so here we are going into year number 3, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And the pandemic is arguably at its worst. Yeah, where do you think we're going to be here at the end of 2022? Do you think it's going to be over, better, still raging on? Where do you think we're going to be when it's Christmas time here at the 2022, when it's New Year's Eve, when I have New Year's Eve decorations up here at the end of 2022, and I'm saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to you? Where do you think the pandemic is going to be? Where do you think the virus is going to be? Kind of makes you wonder here. As you can see here from the Wall Street Journal, Democrats are exploring changes for the child tax credit to win Joe Manchin's favor. Yeah, it's interesting that the Democrats can't pass the child tax credits or maybe even the Build Back Better package, potentially because of one single person, Senator Joe Manchin. You maybe have Kirsten Sinema in there, but I expect if they had Joe Manchin's vote, they probably would have got Kirsten Sinema. That's just a guess there, but I don't think Kirsten Sinema would have been the only person to hold up the vote. You can let me know your thoughts, but I think that's probably a good guess there. So you could it's a good guess to say that Joe Manchin is probably the single sole person that prevented checks going out to 60 million children here in January 15th, and is probably taking, well, did, it just depends on how you want to word this, right? Prevent checks and food and money going to 60 million children here, the child tax credits. And those checks did not go out in January 15th, and all the other provisions in the child tax or in the Build Back Better package. You think about additional benefits for seniors on Medicare. You think about additional rent assistance. There was $25 billion in rent assistance that would have been in there that would have gone to low income families or individuals. You think about paid family and medical leave, which was in there, which we're the only first world country to not have and is really, really needed right now during a pandemic. Think about it's a pandemic, and we're the only first world country to not have paid family and medical leave. Every other first world country in the world has it. Think about how many millions of people right now are out of work because they've tested positive and are not getting a paycheck. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, man. It's just millions. Um, the Build Back Better package, one of the provisions in there is the government would pay all or a portion of their paychecks if they need medical leave. And it's a pandemic. Yeah. As well as reducing the cost of childcare down to a family would only pay a maximum of 7% of their income. Right now, the average family pays as high as 21%. Yes, I think the average family can pay like $10,000 per year for childcare. In some cases, in some states, it can go as high as $20,000 a year for childcare. That's like crippling to a family. As well as pre-K, preschool. There's a lot of other countries, like in Europe, there's countries that have been paying for preschool. It's been part of just like regular school funding for over 100 years. But yet the United States as a whole does not cover it. There's a few states that do, but a lot of states do not cover it. The vast majority of states do not cover it. The average cost for preschool is $8,600, about $200 a week. So And that's about right because we looked to send Julian, our 3-year-old son, to school for preschool. We didn't send him this year because of the pandemic. We just didn't feel right about it. We just chose to. Our kind of motto was better to be safe than sorry. Just kind of our personal decision. It was just kind of a could go either way. He's only 3, so it's not like we really needed to send him to preschool this early. He would have had 2 years of it before kindergarten. It was just kind of our choice. But yeah, it was about $200 a week, even 250, 275 a week, even. So yeah, it's super duper expensive. And you think about right now, 25% of all Americans are actually behind or struggling to pay their bills. So the average American does not have an extra $8,600 a year to pay for preschool. I mean, think about that. Do you have an extra 8,600 bucks just laying around just for preschool? It's super expensive. That's just like one thing, right? Preschool, you got the cost of healthcare, you got there's just so many things that are just like healthcare is insanely expensive. If you ever have to pay for your own healthcare, oh my gosh, it's just unbelievably expensive. Our healthcare for our family, just my wife, me, and our son Julian, it's a little bit over $1,000 a month, and we have a $5,000 deductible for each of us, with a $10,000 maximum deductible for the family. So the way it kind of works is that me and Laurel, for example, have a $5,000 deductible each, which means the insurance company pays nothing until, well, so for example, me, they don't pay a dime until I pay $5,000 out of my own pocket. Um, and then like if I hit my $5,000 deductible, then they'll start paying something, or then they'll pay 100%. And same thing with Laurel or Julian. And then if two people hit the maximum for $10,000 in a single year, then the whole family is covered for the family maximum. And then we have to pay a little bit over $1,000 per month for our monthly premium. Yeah. Absolutely just insane. Absolutely just insane. If you ever have to pay for your own insurance, it's just for 3 people, it's just wow. Yeah. Yeah. Healthcare, childcare, schooling, college, all those things, right? And we talk about student loans, right? All those things are just like to the moon, right? Absolutely just exorbitant. That's why so many people like I don't have student loans. Laurel paid hers off, but so many people I can understand the struggle about student loans. 1 in 6 adults have student loans. If you don't have student loans, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, that was your choice. You chose to take that." But I feel for a lot of those people because a lot of people with student loans, they pay for those for decades and don't pay it off. And a lot of people's student loans are as much as their house payments. And a lot of people that they just struggle with that for so long. And I just feel right now that a lot of people really need a lot of help. I feel a lot of seniors need a lot of help. I feel a lot of low income people need a lot of help right now. And you let me know your thoughts here down below in the comments. And I think that hopefully we continue to see a lot more help here in 2022. Um, I think about it as a whole, we have seen a decent amount of help. We've seen 3 stimulus checks. We've seen all these unemployment bonuses. We've seen rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance. We've seen the SNAP assistance and all the extra SNAP bonuses. We've seen the pandemic EBT, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance. We've seen the state stimulus checks and the state stimulus packages, or yeah, stimulus programs, I should say. We've seen the student loan forgiveness. Remember that last year, President Biden did about $11.5 billion in student loan forgiveness. We just had the Navient private student loan company has just been kind of forced to settle about $1.7 billion here just at the start of 2022. And I think we're going to probably see a lot more of that here in 2022 as well, student loan forgiveness. And hopefully, we're also going to see the Social Security raises here in 2022. I would like to really see that here happen because I think that seniors really need. Hope that this is going to be a really good time or a really big time for seniors to get a raise this year as well. Because I feel like the 5.9% cost of living adjustment is just not really enough. I feel for some people it's a decent. I feel like if you're getting around $100 a month or more, some people actually get $200 a month raise, just depending on how much you make, right? But some people only get like $50 a month or less. And for those people, if you're paying Medicare Part B increases, and if they reduce your food assistance from that, in addition, I think that's totally wrong. I feel like Congress needs to step up and change that. And there's a lot of different bills on the block here, in addition to like stimulus checks and other type of stimulus programs that we think about. But I think that 2022 could still be very optimistic for a lot of different kind of change type of bills. We think about like adding additional Medicare benefits, adding things like a lot of things in the Build Back Better, like paid family and medical leave, lowering the cost of childcare, adding these benefits for seniors, the raises for seniors, like the $200 per month additional raise to Social Security, or the Social Security 2100 Act, which raises Social Security benefits to $1,341 per month, and it actually makes Social Security more solvent by making high income earners that make over $400,000 per year pay into Social Security again. So what happens is people stop paying into Social Security taxes somewhere around $145,000. It changes every year. They change the number a little bit. But what happens is people stop paying into Social Security taxes because they've hit the maximum amount that they can pay into Social Security and they could collect their benefits. I think eventually they're going to change that here with one of these bills and make people start repaying into Social Security at $300,000 or $400,000 a year, where they'll pay back into Social Security with the Social Security tax, but they won't get any benefit for it. And I get the argument that they're paying a tax and not getting any benefit, but there's a lot of taxes like that. You think income tax, you could almost make that argument. Now you can make the argument that you're getting the benefits of fire and police and all the government services, right? Um, that's a whole nother video we can make that argument for. But I think they're eventually going to probably pass one of these Social Security bills where high income earners making three or $400,000 per year are probably going to pay back into Social Security. They're not going to get additional Social Security benefits for it, but they're going to pay a little bit of a Social Security tax, a payroll tax, and that's going to go to the benefits of the Social Security program. And that's going to make it solvent and help pay for these raises. Okay. And all those people paying into Social Security is going to help fund those Social Security raises. And because they make so much money up on that high income earner bracket, there's a lot of money that goes up in there that just gets taxed, if you know what I'm saying. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. And honestly, if it weren't for this pandemic, um, a lot of these different bills and student loan forgivenesses and stimulus checks and paid family and medical leave and emergency rental assistance and mortgage assistance and all these different type of things might not even be possible because, and we've talked about this a few times on the show, what's strange is that sometimes it takes a really tragic event like a pandemic or like a 9/11 type event where we had increased airport security that nobody ever really thought about before. If you think about back in the day, me and also Laura with her mom, when she was younger. They used to just go to the airport, just drive up to the airport and just drive right in and watch the airplanes just for something to do. We used to be able to do that as kids. There was no airport security. You could just do that. No, there was no airport security. Nobody ever thought about it, right? Well, now things are changed, right? And it took that tragic event to kind of change things. Well, this pandemic is also changing a lot of things as well. So did the Great Depression. Changed a lot of things. That's how the Social Security program came into play. There was no Social Security before then. There was also no unemployment program before then. So imagine if the Great Depression never happened, as tragic as that was, if we never had that, we might not have Social Security today and the unemployment program. Imagine if those programs didn't exist. Imagine right now if there was no Social Security program at all. The majority of seniors wouldn't even have a retirement program. And the Great Depression was not that long ago. It was in the 1900s, the 1930s, 20s, the end of 20s to 30s. I mean, that was less than 100 years ago. I mean, arguably, there could be some people watching this show that were alive back then. I mean, we have some viewers that are 90 some years old. I know this because I've seen their comments that may have been a few years old then in the 30s. So that shows you how not that long ago that was. Social Security didn't even exist then. Okay? So imagine if the Great Depression never happened, and then just look at that slightly alternate reality and just think right now there'd be no Social Security. So, as crazy as that line of thinking is, sometimes you just have to look for the good in the bad. That's my optimistic kind of thinking. I'm always looking for the good. I'm always looking for the be positive. Hey, it's a lot better than being negative all day, right? You ever know some people that it's just they're always negative, negative, negative. They're just they're negative people all day long, and just every time you see them, they're just you don't even want to talk to them because they're just they're just never happy. Or would you rather talk to somebody who's always positive, always looking for the good in people, always saying, "Hey, how you doing? It's good to see ya." They're always, looking to shake your hand, looking to put a smile on your face. Whereas, like Julian, always just like, "Hey," sometimes too full of energy, right? Hey, even if I just cheer you up a little bit, even if I just make you think just a little bit more positive, it's better than being a little bit more negative, right? Now I know sometimes the news I have isn't always the most positive, right? I can't always say, "Hey, they just passed a stimulus check for everybody and it's $10,000 every week," right? I can only bring you the news that's actually happening, right? Sometimes it's for one state or sometimes it's this or that, right? I can only bring you the real news, right? Sometimes it's for SNAP benefits, sometimes it's for student loan forgiveness, or it is what it is. Like I can't make up the news, right? So I can't just say, "Jimmy, how come you don't bring me positive news?" Right? The news is the news, right? But at least I'm here bringing you guys the positive vibes. So I guess that's my little ending here for today is be positive. You want to go through life and just be happy, right? It's a whole lot better than being negative. So let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so you won't miss out on new videos. Help us reach our goal of 400,000 subscribers. We're so close. And I'll keep you up to date here with everything. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can click this video next here to watch our newest video next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.